What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my unit review and builds guide for Halloween Nils. So he's our latest rail unit who is a green Dragon Dancer, and he comes with an Inheritable Breath and Suprise Breath Plus. So this weapon is kind of similar to the weapons that we have seen before on the Flame Tribe banner. So it gives you +5 attack and resistance in combat, and then it can inflict the in-combat debuff on foes' attack and resistance depending on the visible resistance of the opponent and the 20% of that. So this is going to be a visible resistance check, and Nils doesn't really have the highest resistance, but he can definitely, work with it at high investment. And this weapon is not exactly the greatest weapon. I mean, it's going to be nice on high resistance units, but I personally feel like Lantern Breath Plus from Halloween Kurth Naga is a lot better inheritable weapon that we got last year, because it has got the guard effect built into it, which is really great because you can just free up your other skill slots. So if you want to use Suprise Breath on some of your units, then this is pretty much how you can make the build. The original Tiki is one of those units who can take the Dragon Flowers and merges, and she will be having the resistance to make use of this to get the attack debuff. And Winter Fae, of course, has pretty high resistance, so if you use her as a far-safe tank, then this could be something that you can run. And Halloween Degensia can also make use of it because of his high resistance. So overall a decent Inheritable Breath, but I still like Lantern Breath a lot more. And honestly, I think that they should have introduced some kind of supportive weapon instead of having another Combat Breath, because we already have Combat Breaths, and would have been really nice on a Dancer. He has got Geyser Dance and Hone Dragons as his passives. So Geyser Dance is available at 4-star, and not many people really use these dance skills. Wings of Mercy is better on most of the dancers, and when it comes to his stat spread, his HP is going to be pretty high, which is going to be allowing you the usage of Sudden Panic, Infantry Pulse, even Pulse Ties, so that is good. And resistance is workable, like I said, so can work with this weapon. And the only super boon that he has got is in his speed. So his speed is pretty nice at base 41, and his attack is not the highest as base 35, but the main use of Nils as a refresher is going to be able to stack up HP to run some of these skills which I mentioned before. And he also has the resistance to make use of these Sabotage skills, and he is essentially our first Dragon free-to-play refresher or Dancer. I know we did get Ninian from the Heroes path, but she's not exactly mergeable, so Nils is just a bit more modern here with his stat allocation, so he can be used for HP stacking and support builds. But unfortunately, not having any kind of support weapon really hurts him, because with a Dancer or a Refresher, you really want to double down on your role and provide more support to your allies, because you're going to be using your action to refresh them. So if you can provide them the support, then it's much better. And usually a Refresher is not going to be seeing the combat that much. So like I said, this would have been the perfect opportunity to introduce a supportive breath on Nils. And even though he does have play, which is like his preferred skill, it's not a unique dance compared to what Legendary Ninian has got, what Peonies have got, Legendary Azura has got. So he's really not going to be able to stand out, and you cannot really even use him in arena because his play only scores 150 SP. So yeah, he's not going to be scoring much there, and that is going to be really hard if you're trying to, actually go up the tiers. And he doesn't really stand out much competitively. He can stack up the HP, but so can the other dancers. I use Fallen Ninian, and you can use her the same way for HP stacking, and she can work really well at like +1 merge. And she does have the preferred dance and also the preferred weapon, which is really good. And I would say that even the original Nils actually could do this better. So overall, yeah, we just have so many dancers that are a lot more supportive. Even if you want to build up a free-to-play dancer that wants to be supportive, then Tethys is right there. She can run Temari Dagger, and she also has high resistance to run Sabotage. And HP stacking is something that you can do on her as well. So unfortunately, Nils doesn't really stand out too much, but if you're a big fan of him, then you can certainly build him up. And on a budget, he can definitely work out for the in-game content, the Tempest Trial, or even the Arena Assault. So you can just run Fury on him and run him with War Dragon. So if you're going to be running some Dragon units on your team, then this Sacred Seal is going to be pretty nice for, just buffing them up. And he already comes with Hone Dragons, so you can double down on that support. And Speed Refine is something that he can go and get so that he can, at least not get doubled by the enemies. And he can also run the double tactic skills, and Wings of Mercy is going to be better on a Dancer than the dance skills. So if you have extra canes, then you can definitely do that. I personally don't, so I'm just going to be using him with the first budget build. And if you want to invest heavily into him, then running the Even Pulse tie or Infantry Pulse is going to be the option that you can do with double HP skills. So this is a plus 10 Nils, but this could also be done at like +1 merge or even like +2 merge when we get his ephemera. So that is possible because like merges are not exactly the most important thing with this kind of supportive build. You just need to go after the HP. So this could be done, and he can actually reach really high HP if you merge him up all the way. So that is going to be enough to even pulse down some hardy fighter armor units with really high HP who are summoner supported. So that is going to be a pretty nice way to use him in summoner duels, especially in summoner duels S if you invest into him heavily. So that is one of the competitive uses. And in Aether Raids offense, I don't really think he stands out much. Fallen Indian is just so better because of having that ruse stance, which can affect the enemies with the guard skill. Nils cannot really provide that kind of support. So I feel like you could be used in Aether Raids defense, again just stacking up HP and running Sudden Panic and Infantry Pulse. And in the Anima season, like Fiorm is going to be the main unit who can isolate the dancers, and Nils can just stack up the HP so that she is not able to do that even after her weapon refine. So by using Nils, you can basically make your defense a bit more isolation proof by stacking up the HP. So yeah, on a supportive Nils, plus HP is pretty much going to be his best IV, which I would suggest that he could use the trait fruits for. And resistance boon is also something you can run if you want to run the Sabotage skills. I personally like stacking up HP a lot more on Nils because he can run, 2 skills like Sudden Panic, Infantry Pulse, or even run Even Pulse tie at the same time. Meanwhile, if he had Sabotage Sacred Seals, I think that would have been a bit better because he could debuff like 2 stats. So whenever that happens in the future, then, he could definitely do that. So you just want to run Still Water or Fortress Defense Res on his slot A so that he can increase his visible resistance. It doesn't really matter what you use. I feel like using Fortress Defense Res is fine on budget. And you can just run Infantry Pulse or whatever you want to run on slot C, and then just run Ward Dragons. So this is to be used in Aether Raids defense Dark Season. So you can provide the Ward Dragons buff to your Medius and also help him with the slot B skills, so he could be used there. And I feel like if you want to use him in Aether Raids defense, then if you have access to Lantern Breath, that could actually be a good option because it does have the guard effect, and that can actually really annoy some of the Gale Force teams. So that is definitely an option if you have an extra Kurth Naga. And then finally, at max investment, if you want to use him for his combat, then this is the build that you can run. So attack speed finish from this Halloween banner itself could be obtained, and that is going to be really good so that you can get the healing, you can also get the true damage. And Nils doesn't really have the highest damage output, so it is definitely helpful, and also gives you the self-sustain. And because dragons don't really have access to the damage reduction skills, you can run Speed Smoke 4. Nils' bulk is not really all that great, so damage reduction is something that can help you with the slot C skill and also with slot B in Dragon Strat. So this is something that you can do if you really want to use your boy in the combat more than you want to use him as a refresher. Make sure to share this video with your friends who are trying to build up Halloween Nils, and I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using Super Thanks or by becoming a YouTube member down below. And for more FEH analysis videos and free-to-play guides, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes show my videos as many times as the amount of supportive breaths that we have in the game. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.